to Who Let the Moms Out. How I always wait for the bark. Today we have a super special episode because we have our friend Casey from Our Loca Vida here today. I am a little bit getting over something. I don't know if it's a cold or something, so that's why I'm like sounding all weird. But anyway,
sneezing.
Yeah, it's a mess. Anyway, the person we're interviewing today here is absolutely awesome. She is the kind of mom that you want on your side because God forbid you have it against you. She is a mom of 5 boys and an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur at that. Her husband will tell you that she is fucking crazy. And basically, like, if she has an extra hour of sleep, she will start a new business and force you to run it with her and put the whole family to do the business. And somehow she's managed to raise awesome boys in between Canada and Mexico while running all these businesses and all these things. And we're so excited to have you here because you're inspiring.
You're an inspiration.
Yes. Yes. So without further ado, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here and to chat with you guys. I feel like obviously you and I know each other well, and Paul, I feel like we know each other. So it's just excited to like be here and actually chat and like be a part of it, you know?
Yes, we're so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm Casey, mom to 5 boys, 6 if you count my husband. You can probably hear chickens right now. We're at the ranch. There's like cows running around and horses and chickens. There's just like a whole thing. There's so much going on all the time. I currently, my focus right now is currently on marketing. I'm really working on growing the marketing in our online organic grocery store, which we just shut our restaurant down and are looking for a new location to open later this year. That's like a whole different story though. And I have another business on the go and we're just kind of scaling our hotel. We opened Airbnbs at the ranch and we're scaling that. And that's just kind of what we're doing.
Okay. So she just brushed through all of this, making it sound like she has like, you know,
nothing, right?
She owns an entire hotel that she's been operating and running and basically has it running on its own for years in Isla Mujeres in Mexico. She owns a marketplace basically for organic, locally sourced food in Yucatan and Quintana Roo, so in Mexico. So she has made it her mission to go around and find all locally sourced produce, vegetables, organic, like all the best food you can get in the Yucatan Peninsula. She has met all these locals and basically created a marketplace online so that if you want the best food possible, you get it through her. And she does deliveries, she does markets, she does like an online a marketplace where you can go and buy all these things. And it's a whole enterprise. And then on top of that, she's now built a second Airbnb hotel situation at her ranch, also in Quintana Roo. And she had a whole restaurant that she was running simultaneously that just closed down. So, you know, it's not like this person is just like sitting there with like, you know, a little hut in her yard.
A little thing, a little marketing here and there.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm in marketing right now. I'm like, wait, let's just put it in for a second. Okay, I want to go first because I met Casey on a entrepreneur mom group years ago. I had just had Alaska and I was living in the other side of Mexico in Ensenada. And I was in this group. And I remember I saw a post you made about something about Instagram and your hotel. And I was just so impressed because I was about to start building our land also in Mexico. And I messaged her. And anyway, it was an instant click. We ended up doing a collaboration where we went and promoted her hotel in Isla Mujeres. And that's how the friendship started. Next thing you know, we're like going together on trips and stuff like that. Anyway, my first question to you is, what's been the most challenging part of being as crazy as you are with your businesses and ideas and wanting to like promote all that stuff and putting your need, right, to get all that out there, your entrepreneur self, whilst raising 5 boys, 6 if you count your husband?
Definitely 6. That's funny. I don't even remember that that's how we met. And I have no recollection of that. Those details just slipped my mind. We just met, in my opinion. I don't even know how that happened.
We're friends.
We're just friends since birth, no? For me, the hardest part is I'm not an organized person. So funny that you say that my hotels just run themselves. I'm just really good at delegating. So it's like, if I can have the right team, have the right people in place and delegate the parts that I can't do, then my businesses run great. If I have to do the day-to-day and run the businesses, don't even stay with us at our hotel. It's not good.
It's not worth the restaurant because you were tired of having to like show up and be the cook and the server.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just that. Like, I was reading a book recently, actually, that I'll totally recommend to you guys called Rocket Fuel. I can't even recall the book. And we all have our zones of genius. And so like my zone of genius just isn't the day to day. I'm not good at it. So I come up with these really great ideas and I'm able to like zoom out and have the bird's eye view and really pinpoint things that are not working. But like me in the day to day, I won't follow my own rules. You know, like people who have that creative genius, people who are in that zone, they're just not good at running the day to day. You know what I mean? And so for me, even with my kids' schooling, this is why unschooling is great because I just don't fucking do anything. People are like, what do you do for school? And I'm like, nothing. They have apps, they have books. I make them write their to-do list, but it's like, I make them do it. I don't do it. I'm not the one who needs to learn. I got my own shit going on.
And I have to say, I have met and hung out extensively with all her 5 kids, and they're amazing. Like your kids are really, I don't know how, like, you know, it's crazy because like I have the one toddler and the one coming, and I'm like, how do people do this? And then you have 5 boys, and they're insane. So nice. They're so. I remember the first trip we ever took together. They were so gentle. Alaska was a baby, and they were like taking turns holding my baby for me so I could eat, like taking
and drink chili waters.
And they're so respectful, and they help you in your businesses. And it's just like, damn, like, how do you do this? And then you're like, I do nothing. I just tell them that, you know, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, do
and I think it's just teaching independence. And actually a good friend of my dad's just came to visit us and he said the same thing. And I feel like he was expecting them to be just like raging assholes. Yeah. And he was like, bro, your fucking kids are so good. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I'll beat them if they're
I love the dog.
You probably have to cut that out.
But I love that that's always the assumption, though. It's always the assumption that, like, oh, yeah, you have an unschooled kid, so you know they're going to be the worst.
Yeah. And they're not. And they're really good kids. And of course, they are bad. Like, you know, and especially once they get to know you, they open up and their true selves show out. But they're just, my whole mindset is that they have to be good human beings. And I never, ever, ever have complaints that they're not, you know, like they're boys, they're going to be crazy, but everyone is. What kid is not crazy? Yeah. What kid does not misbehave, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the thing as well. I think for a lot of us parents, especially at the beginning of parenting, right? At the beginning of the motherhood journey, which both Paula and I are in right now, like there's this whole like, you know, you're always so guilty and there's always pressure and you're always comparing yourself and always trying and striving and trying so hard. And then I think at some point when you have 5 kids, you know, you're like, well, I can't do it all. So
you just don't even care.
It has to be figured out. But at the end of the day, like what we all want, because our priorities in terms of what we want them to learn, how we want them to transition in life, et cetera, are always going to change, right? As we change our mentality, as we thrive or not thrive in different areas of life, I think it's always going to change, like, what we want them to be doing right now. Like you've tried going to regular school, you've tried homeschooling, you've tried.
They've been Christians, Catholics, homeschooled, unschooled, regular schooled. Like we've done all the schools.
Right. And I feel like that's always going to fluctuate. But like, I think overall, all we want for our children is to be good people. If you're a good,
and if you don't want them, then you're not a good parent. If you don't want your children to be good people, you shouldn't be a parent. That's like my one judgment that I'm doing. Like we need to create good humans. That's the whole goal.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Yeah. Everything else is irrelevant as long as you're a human.
Be an accountant, be a lawyer, and a flight attendant, a fisherman, whatever you would like. Everything's great. Be a good human.
Right. Right. I love that.
I love this. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. That's so woke of you. My God.
All right. I'm going to do the next question.
Now, mic drop. See you later. Nice chatting.
I'm done. No, I want to know, why did you choose the location for the first hotel? So
that was just
there like a reason?
No, my husband's from there. So his parents gifted us land when we got married. We moved to Canada. We made some money. We came back and we built it. And then we created a hotel. It's actually a longer story than that, but that's the long story really shortened.
Nice. That's really good. That's very convenient, firstly. And it's a really good, opportunity, see something, make something.
Yeah. And it did well. And I think we got in at the right time. Isla Mujeres attracts a certain type of tourism. And Maria and I have talked about this a lot. And this is where I can say I'm getting really into marketing, is just like really studying the market and understanding the people that are there before the business. So like putting an Airbnb business with the amenities that we have, in the location that we have, it's just like we're full all the time, so I don't have to really, in that business, I don't even actually market because all of the platforms just fill it for me.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
Another
That's
question
really good.
for you, because I know a lot of our listeners are from, the US or Europe or Canada. And you guys started your family in Canada. Your kids went to school in Canada for a little bit. You guys were settled there. You were doing really well in Canada. And then you decided to move, and you've never moved back. Why did you decide to move to Mexico?
I just enjoy Mexico 1,000 times more. I feel like we can compare Mexico more to Europe or maybe even to Hawaii. There's just like this deep down family connection that, like, you talk to teenagers, Victor's cousins growing up, like they're all obsessed with my kids, and Victor was obsessed with his cousins. Like there's just this constant desire for them to be a part of a family. Whereas like in Canada, I saw my cousins maybe once a year at Christmas, if that, and so here there's just this different connection, and I feel like that plays a huge role in their becoming good people because they're just getting raised a different way.
I feel like that's how Hawaiians are as well. So like here in Hawaii, family units are very big. So like it's not mom and dad and the kid or the kids. It's the grandmother and the aunts and the uncles, and people show up at your house. And if they need to sleep over, you're not wondering where they're going to sleep. They just come and they sleep. And, you're always connected with people. Like I have a neighbor that I met on the street. Like when I moved my first week, I was walking with Alaska, and this lady just shows up at my house whenever she wants. She opens the door, she comes in, she rubs my belly and kisses my belly. And I'm just like, and my daughter loves her. My daughter sees her coming and she screams, Mimi. And like, I don't even know, it's probably not her real name, like, who cares? Nobody cares. It's Mimi.
She's Mimi now.
To my house. She like harasses my husband. Like she's actually gay, but she finds both my husband and my brother very attractive. She's always rubbing them, and like she rubs me. She's like, "Oh my God, you're so pregnant. You're still hot though, but my God, you used to be so hot. You're so pregnant now." And I'm just like, Mimi, you have no filter. And it's so funny because this human that we just met on the street has become part of our family, and like, she doesn't call to see if we're home. She just shows up.
Yeah. She just shows up.
She leaves food in the lanai. She just leaves me like food in Ziploc bags, like, and I feel like in a lot of our countries, it is like that. Like people just, with family, you don't have to make an appointment. You just sort of show up. And I feel like I agree with you. Like when you grow up with so many people involved in your life, you sort of learn to, it's not like you have to make excuses or whatever, but you sort of like become comfortable with like the discomfort of having different people with different needs and different things all around all the time versus when
it's a community, and you need a community. It's super important. I feel like community, and although I'm saying this as I live off grid and my community is my 5 kids, my husband, and my horses,
that's a lot of people.
I feel like we do have people, and I have staff, and like my staff become part of my community. Like when we hire people, they're not just staff members, like they're family, you know what I mean? And like even the immediate family, like if my brother-in-law needs us or my brother or whoever, like we're there, right away. And I know that you and your brother have that same relationship. And that's what I want for my kids. Like, I don't want this distance family where they hate you because you got more money or because grandma gave you this ring or, some stupid shit like that. Like, I just want them to get along.
Yeah, it's true. Grandma gave you this ring. My cousin and my grandmother gave me and my cousin 2 different rings when we were little. To this day, we're still fighting about it because my cousin ended up living with my grandma when she moved to the US. And so my ring, my cousin ended up keeping. And like, every time I see her with that ring, I'm like, bro, I swear to you, like, if you ever don't want the ring, it's my ring. Remember, just give it back to me.
I pulled some heartstrings with that ring comment. There's some like deep trauma we are unhealing right now.
Yeah, I'm like, damn it, the ring. She still has my ring.
You see, but you guys get along because you're Cubans and you're close, and so it's like it's there, but it's not a thing. Like
the thing is, in our cultures, and this happens here. Hawaiians are very much like that. Like there is no choice not to get along. Like. Yeah. Like when I go to Miami, for example, or like, my cousin calls me at 3 a.m. I'm like, bro, I'm sleeping. She's like, I don't know the time difference. And I'm like, I've been living here for like a year and a half. You still don't know.
Put it on your phone.
But she doesn't care. She just calls. And then when I go to Miami, I have to go stay at her house. Like my parents live in Miami, but I cannot just go to my parents' house.
No.
Yeah, it's like a thing. And it doesn't matter what
she won't speak to you again. That's a huge thing here too. Like we get invited to someone's house. It's like, you're staying. If you don't stay at that house, it's like you spat in their face and you killed them. Like don't even speak to them again. If you're not going to stay at the house you're invited, or eat, go to someone's house and they offered you food. You shut up and you eat. Whether you don't eat bread, you're eating.
Oh yeah. I've heard that one.
Oh yeah.
I've heard the eating one. Yeah. I didn't know the sleeping one.
Well, Paula, you guys are like this too. So we spent a month and a half, almost 2 months, and with Paula's family in Portugal, and it was like I've never consumed so much food. And I'm Cuban, like we feed people, but
well, they don't really ask you though; they just feed you. They just feed you. That's
at
that.
Some point,
we stopped the asking part. We just feed.
At some point, I remember feeling so bad because I'm like, we've been here for over a month, and every day these people are feeding us. Like it's a whole economy. There's like 6 extra people in their house every day.
Yeah.
But they have like these tables that keep extending, and somebody shows up and they pull chairs out of nowhere, and you sit down and there's more food coming, and I'm just like, and it's just like,
but they also have like people. They're like the neighbors and stuff. They always have like a bag of food dropped at their door, like or potatoes or cabbage or vegetables and things like that. And then my mom makes bread and then like sends it to all the neighbors and stuff like that. So it's also like this is the community. They might not show up into each other's houses, but they will leave a little something at your door.
Right. They won't knock on the door, but they'll leave you something there, and then when you see it,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. Hello. I still remember you.
Exactly. Okay. So next question, Paula, do you have a question?
Yes. So I was going to ask you what made you leave Canada, but obviously I already know that one. But what is a project that you dream of doing? You haven't done it yet, but you dream of doing it one day.
There's like 10.
All right.
I have like a list of businesses. I just need like a bigger team and more money. And then I'd have like 45,000 hotels. Like, there would be so much. There's a few. So the hotel business, I want to grow. I want more hotels, and I want hotels for everyone. Actually, another business that I'll be launching later this year, a travel company, which my niche was too broad, as Murray said. But one of the parts is
me at like 11 at night. She messages me at like these odd hours, like 4 in the morning. He's like, look at these logos. What do you think? Or like, okay,
your community
slogan. Marketing slogan. What do you think? And I'm like, girl, it's like I just woke up. I need to poop first. Hold on. What? I thought you were selling vegetables. Now you're opening a hotel. What?
Now we have other projects. No, so part of that is I want to have hotels for everyone. So, and specifically for moms, and you guys can definitely attest to this, is that traveling changes you. So, and it's not just traveling. Like people go and stay in Cancun in an all-inclusive for 10 days, get off the property twice, go home, and we're like, whoa, Mexico. And it's like, bro, you have never even been to Mexico. Like that was not Mexico,
And so I think like in 10 days in an all-inclusive, that sounds miserable.
I can't even do 2 days in an all-inclusive. I want to be gone.
My sister does that. Does that.
It's horrible. It's horrible. No offense to your sister. That's fine. But I feel like once it's like a tattoo, once you get out and you actually travel, it's like, oh my fucking God, where are we going next? Like then you just have the itch and you need to go. And so I want to open a travel company basically to be the gateway drug for those moms, so like create a trip.
I love it. This is the marketing slogan right here.
Gateway drug, gateway drug to world schooling. So, not everyone's going to world school. Not everyone can live the lives that we live. It's just not conventional and it's not going to happen. But how about we create these trips, or we can just help you book your itinerary for a trip that's a bit more adventurous than just going, so like we'll get you into this world of travel to world schooling. So then you can from there either continue to book with us, or then you can feel comfortable of just booking your own adventures.
I love it.
I like that because I like to book stuff, but I also need someone to tell me what to book because I don't like just booking things. So I'm always like,
and then it'll be like,
so I would love that.
Like every single person, it'll be me. And I have another friend who's a travel agent who's going to work with us. She's going to be a travel designer. That. And so it'll be a trip that someone's done before. Right? So maybe even you guys, like say eventually this trip, maybe I haven't been, but maybe you guys have been before. And so like all of these trips, we're going to find a way to have this collective of moms who actually travel, but then have something for every budget. So we can go just like our apartments fully furnished, really nice, cheaper, you can cook there. You're on a cheaper budget, or you want this like ultra luxury private island with a jet to get you there. We can do that too. So we'll do everything for you. From doing nothing, from doing something really little, or to planning this whole luxurious trip for you.
That's awesome. That's very similar. Like my ultimate dream is to create hubs where people can go live and work at. So like people like me that want to work on the road, but have kids, like I'm starting to have this problem where like, it's not really a problem, it's an opportunity, but it's like I have a toddler that's very like inquisitive and she wants to do things. Like right now we're going to Japan and I have to plan this trip and I'm like, well, it's no longer she's coming along. Like how can I make it so that she's also thriving and learning and doing things? And so
learning,
right. I would love to create hubs all over the world where families can go and have like a co-working space, a school situation, but also activities with the local community. Because I think I agree with you, man. Like I love going to relax and just going to a hotel and a resort for a few days. But like the real goal of traveling is like getting out there and getting to know the people and doing things like locals and food and, you know, like there's so much food. And there's so much that's undiscovered. Like we always feel like, oh, like, you know, it's funny. People ask me like, you've been to so many places. Like, aren't you tired? And I'm like, the more I go, the more I realize that
the more you want to go more.
Yes, there's so much, there's so many layers to traveling. Okay, last question I'm going to ask you. Because you have kids of varying ages. One of them is already an adult and you have still Nico. How old is Nico now?
He'll be 9 this year.
God.
Is that insane?
That's so crazy. But it makes sense. Alaska's almost 4. So yeah, I met him when he was like 4, almost 5. So okay, you have a whole spectrum of kids. You have one that, because Oliver is already, what, 17, 18? 18
in April. I know. It's aging us. We're like almost 60.
These kids are aging us. We should sue them.
I know.
So, question: what has been the most challenging age period for you? And I know that's gonna be a difficult question because like they're so different ages. But what was the hardest part for you as an entrepreneur and as a mom? So like Casey that wants to do all these things, that wants to have projects, that wants to be her own person, and is also a mom. With all these kids, what was the most challenging age?
Young ages, for sure. Because I can remember when we were still in Canada and I was running my janitorial business. And I think that I used to drop Oliver and William off. Either they had a nanny or I dropped them off at school. I can't remember. That was too long ago now. But I would take the babies to work with me. And so that was the hardest part. Like babies are demanding. Like now I can lock myself in my bedroom all day. I can get like 5 solid hours of work. I put my music on. They know like my door is shut. Actually, one of their school project is to make me a sign of do not disturb. Like if I go in and I flip this sign, like, don't even knock on my door. Don't even talk to me, please. You know, and I can do that. And they feed themselves. Like Nico, at one point, he was like, I'm hungry. I'm like, bro, there's a fridge, there's a stove, figure it out. Like we have a lady who's here all day. You can ask her to light the stove. Like you have brothers, you have a dad. Don't forget that you have a dad. You can ask him, right? Like figure your shit out, bro. You're gonna be 9 now.
You're 9, you're a man.
You're a man now. Feed yourself, cook eggs. There's chickens. Go get eggs. Come in, cook some eggs, make the toast, done.
Listen, my mom was shocked the other day because Alaska was asking me for a snack and I was like, go get it. And she was like, but she's 3. And I'm like, but yeah, but the fridge is her height. She opens her fridge, she grabs her, she can't light up the stove and make herself food, but she can make it. Like, she can grab cheese, she can grab fruits, cucumbers. I always have it. The whole bottom of the fridge is easy access stocked with foods that she likes and that are, you know, all available. She can go and grab whatever she wants. Like I only have to, because, you know, I'm like 155,000 months pregnant at this point. I'm not getting up from the couch to get you an apple. You can grab your own apple. You go to the bathroom sink, which you can reach. You can wash your own apple. You eat it. Everybody's happy. I'm not getting up.
Yeah. My mom, but that's so good. See, those things to me, that's so important. Like teaching her at such a young age to do this for herself, like that's creating good habits. I have some of Victor's family members, even my brother at some point, you know, like they still need help with all these little tasks. Like Mateo washes his own clothes now. He's like, I have no clothes. I'm like, well, there's the laundry machine, honey, you know, figure it out. Right. And it's like, they can do that. Kids can do so much more than we think they can do. Yes. And when you set them up since 2 to be independent, you're just creating one of the most important habits that a human can have.
Exactly. Absolutely. I couldn't, you know, it's funny because since I got pregnant, I'm like, okay, there's going to be 2. I already dislike doing things for people. There's going to be 2 people that I have to do things with. That's going to be a problem. So I've started like, you know, the training process, and like Alaska dresses herself. She takes off her clothes. She dumps her diaper if there's pee in it in the trash. She knows you know, all these things. And like, it's so funny because, you know, my husband's very nurturing. He's like, his mom, like we go to his house, you know, like I'm 35, he's 30, what, 9, almost 40 years old. We go to his mother's house and she still does our laundry. Like I put it in a different place so she doesn't see it. And I come back home and my mother-in-law has grabbed our laundry, done it, folded it, like puts it on the bed. And I'm like, you're 79 years old. You should be doing nothing. You should be with your legs open.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know? But so this is where my husband comes from, you know? And he's like,
yeah.
Alaska says she's thirsty. And he gets up and I'm like, there's water bottles all over the house. Go fetch one that has water and drink.
But that's very Mexican. And I feel like your mindset isn't because you're Cuban. That's just you and the way that you've kind of raised yourself, like moving around the world and becoming independent, right? Because I feel like Cubans are very similar to Mexicans. Like you just take care of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Maria, you're just different. You've just you've created your own person.
I'm just a rude bitch. Like,
no.
Anyone.
You're like, bitch, go get water. You're gonna get great bad habits. I'm not getting up.
Okay, so up until recently, my toddler would just like scream out, agua, agua, like every time I'm like, you can't start.
That is true though.
I'm an anxious person. Like I think something's the matter and you just need water. Like go get
like, don't fucking yell at me.
Yeah, I'm like, please. So having said that, I cannot wait for the 4th of April when my mother gets here so she can do the laundry and do my food and take care.
It's gonna be great. And take advantage because you deserve it.
Listen, after this infinite pregnancy, I definitely deserve it and I will take it.
Yes. And maybe she should stay longer.
Oh my God. We're trying to convince her to stay here in Hawaii. Let's see how it goes. I want to open a laundromat business for her. My mom loves doing laundry.
Perfect.
Great.
Problem solved. She can start in, what do they say in Spanish? Se lava ropa ajena?
Ajena.
Ropa ajena. There you go. Start in your house.
I don't know that my house, my shack over here is the best place to start any business. This is not it. With foot traffic.
You just have to add a nicer bit. The lift shack.
Just put a bunch of like little washing machines in the yard and just cover it somehow.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you some photos of some señoras and you're gonna be like, girl, my shack will do just fine. It's a good starting point.
That is one thing I would say. Mexico is a place that will teach you that when there's a will, there's a way. The businesses I have seen thrive out of Mexico with almost nothing. It's like absolutely. Yeah. When there's a will, there's a way. And if there's a person that can vouch for that, it's Casey here with her crazy ass life.
We make it work.
Kids and everybody's thriving. And
that is very true.
Anyway, I hope if you're listening to this, you have been inspired. One, that you don't have to have it all figured out. And two, that it's possible. Si se puede. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So much.
And having kids is not reason to stop doing anything.
That's right.
No,
that's
exactly.
Right. 1, 2, or 5.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Anyway, thank you so much for being here with us today. We are definitely going to have you back when she starts one of her other 3 businesses she will be starting this year, so we can talk.
Yeah, there's like 5 more, so I'll let you know when the next one is in the making.
I'm sure I will receive a message when I'm pooping at 5 a.m. from you to discuss some logo or marketing scheme or something.
Yeah.
I'm eagerly waiting.
You'll be ready.
Yes. All right. You can always find out more of our podcast and more of everything we talk about here at Who Let the Moms Out, that pod on Instagram. You can follow Casey on Instagram at Our Loca Vida. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this in the comment section, we'll leave a link just in case you don't speak Spanish and you don't know what the hell I'm saying. But anyway, thank you for tuning in and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.